Firstly, apologies to anyone who found this video because they were searching for Simon Sinek, but you should stick around because you're about to learn about a really important and creative part of the fashion industry you've probably never heard of before: pattern making. Hi, welcome to Pattern Making with Leigh. So what is pattern making? Let's ask Google.
Pattern making is the process of creating a blueprint or template, a pattern, for a garment, which is then used to cut out the fabric pieces that will be sewn together to form the finished garment.
Can't argue with that. So essentially a fashion designer has an idea and they communicate it to the pattern maker. They could find a reference image and share it, or they could sketch it. And this sketch can be a very figurative, some hand sketch, or what we call in the industry a trade or flat technical sketch,
Which is a very detailed sketch with a front and back view.
They can also drape their idea and share it. Either way, they found a way to communicate their idea to the pattern maker. Then the pattern maker will go away and create a pattern for that design. And that pattern is used to cut up the fabric to sew the final garment. And the pattern for this shirt would look a little bit like this.
This shirt pattern has a front, back yoke, sleeve, cuff. Then there is a sleeve placket and vent band. These patterns are used to finish the vent at the bottom of the sleeve. And there are 3 pieces to create the collar, plus a pocket and a pocket template.
If you're in shock because you had no idea your shirt had so many pattern pieces or what they are or how to make them, don't worry. This is lesson 1 of my completely free Introduction to Pattern Making course, which you can watch on my YouTube channel. I think I have a pretty good idea of what the output of pattern making is now: a pattern. And this pattern is used to cut the fabric, which is then given to a machinist with any trims and labels and instructions to sew the garment. Now let's ask Google how patterns are made and why it matters.
The purpose is pattern making is a crucial step in garment construction, ensuring that the fabric pieces are cut accurately and fit the body properly.
Wow, so inspiring. What a great reason to get out of bed in the morning. And how do we do this?
It involves translating a designer's vision into a 2D representation of the garment, including all the necessary details like seam allowances, grain lines, and notches.
Hands up who wants to do pattern making. As Simon Sinek would say, when you start with what, which in our case is creating a 2D pattern, you get a really boring definition of why something matters and why it's important and why you do it, which is why you end up with so many boring, technical, confusing pattern making courses and books. So they focus on the output, the 2D patterns so much, and drafting patterns, and suck all the creativity and energy and life out of pattern making. So let's start with why. If you're watching this video, you've already worked out that you need pattern making to bring your ideas to life.
It's this incredible creative skill that turns fantasy into reality. A good pattern maker will bring your vision to the world. But how do we do it?
We are the architects and engineers of the fashion world.
And having architectural skills is really important to the pattern making process because it's this constant interplay between visualizing or experimenting in 3D and then translating it into 2D and back and forth.
And I can say that with reasonable authority because I actually studied architecture before I studied fashion, and I know these skills really helped me as a pattern maker.
And while the paper pattern is the end product, what you're really doing is finding a way to sculpt 2D fabric to create a 3D design. And each fabric has a life and quality of its own. Some are stiff and rigid, others cascade beautifully over the body.
Or is it the body? Let's move away from pattern must fit body because it could be a car.
Or change proportions of the body. And it's not just fabric, remember, you're an engineer too. You have all these additional materials like boning, tulle, canvas that you can use to create incredible gravity-defying shapes.
And you might be thinking, Leigh, I'm not here to learn how to stick cars in my clothes. I want clothes that actually fit my body. But what part of your body? And do your clothes actually fit your body?
This is the front and sleeve of a kimono pattern. Which body measurements do you actually need to create it? Think about it.
Kaftans, togas, any sort of loose boxy dress, they don't really rely on many body measurements to create the pattern. Even if you think about sort of cowl necklines and gathered skirts, you don't rely on many body measurements. You might be feeling a bit lost now and wondering, okay, well, what is pattern making? For me, pattern making is having this knowledge and skills you can draw upon and harness to bring any idea to life. That's why I love pattern making, why I started pattern making, and why I created my DIY pattern making kits, and why I started this YouTube channel, so I can share the skills that I developed by working in the industry for the last, over a decade now, share those skills with you so you can bring your own ideas to life and see how much fun and creative pattern making can actually be. If that sounds like something you'd be interested in, click on this video to watch episode 2 of my Introduction to Pattern Making course, where I'll discuss the 4 different methods you can use to create patterns all by yourself. And if you want to know what it's like to work in the industry as a pattern maker, click on this video where I discuss what it was like pattern making at Alexander McQueen.